who can hold you. Let me be your, let me be your, let me be your pleasure. We're better together. Let me be your, let me be. This is an information for all delegates. You're supposed to have your ID cards on at all times. Has to remove the car as it is parked in the VIP parking. You can park it in any other place available. The car number is ML05X7913. Baby, we can get it for you. Let me be your shelter, the one who can hold you. Let me be your, let me be your, let me be your pleasure. We're better together. Let me be your, let me be. When a light dies, a love is born. When the stars start to shine at dawn, heart is racing and it's hard to touch. Awake for hours in the morning sun. All I got is at the bottom of the ocean. This is an important announcement. The car ML05X7913 is requested to be removed from the chief guest parking area as soon as possible. Everyone is requested to stand up as our chief guests are now arriving. You all may kindly sit down.
told me chief guest. हम लोग कहाँ गए थे? चलो ठीक है. Chief guest दिन chief guest दिन कहाँ? It is done now. Okay, just tell me this. Is the mic fine? Or because I have to bend. I don't want to bend. Okay.
Hello. Can't even reach it. Hello, 1, 2, 3. This is the last announcement for the car ML05X7913. Oh, it's yours, sir. Sir, can we move it a little bit just to the right because the convoy will then put it.
Good morning, everyone. Can you all, I request everyone to kindly rise as our chief guest, Mr. Metpa Lingdo, is arriving. We have our chief guest arriving now. All of you may kindly take your seats. A very good morning, respected guests, dignitaries, executive board members, delegates, and my fellow members of the Secretariat. Today is indeed a momentous day in the history of Meghalaya Model United Nations, as we gather here today for the 4th Meghalaya Model United Nations International Conference, Shillong 2023. What you see today is an outcome of the hard work and dedication that was put in over a period of the last 4 months by each member of the Secretariat. The experience that each of you will have in the next 3 days is sure to be ethereal, memorable, and life-changing. The Meghalaya Model United Nations is recognized by the United Nations Information Center for India and Bhutan, being the only MUN conference in the state and the second in Northeast India to have been recognized by the UN Information Center for India and Bhutan, and also has the rights to use the logos of the United Nations. We are proud to have received a letter of support and blessings from the United Nations and a permission to use their logos. This conference will also be a part of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees MUN Challenge, thereby adding more value to the delegates' experience. Meghalaya MUN is excited to be taking part in the UN HCR 2023 Refugee Challenge, challenging Model United Nations delegates worldwide to debate the major issues related to forced displacement. When MMUN was started 6 years ago with a vision to create a platform for the youth to debate, deliberate, and develop their personalities, we hadn't fathomed that one day we will host a conference for 700 plus delegates from the state and the country around. We take pride in announcing that this is our largest and grandest conference yet, with the record of 650 plus delegates from last year's conference broken with a huge margin. This year, we are happy to bring this experience for 700 plus delegates. We at MMUN believe that MUNs are for everyone and shouldn't be limited to the urban boundaries. This year, we have delegates from all the 12 districts of Meghalaya, many of whom will be experiencing MUNs for the first time in their lives. Here at MUN, we believe in creating opportunities and to be a source of learning and motivation for everyone. The support that we have received is a testament for the hard work that we've put in. This year, we are lucky to have received the support from the Chief Minister's Office, the Department of Sports and Youth Affairs, the DCs of the 12 districts of Meghalaya, and it has been because of their unwavering support that we have been able to achieve this. This year, our venue partner is the Northeastern Hill University, and we are supported by the Law Department to host our conference. When darkness comes, let us not condemn the dark, but light a lamp to illuminate. I now request our chief guests, dignitaries, and members of the Senior Secretariat to light the lamp, which will be a testament of hope for all of us. It is our pleasure to have with us our chief guest for the day, Mr. Metpa Lingdaw, MLA and Chairman, Meghalaya State Planning Commission, Mr. Jemino Mauthaw, Ms. Alithia Cordor Lingdaw, Deputy Executive Director of NESFAS, Professor D.K. Nayak, in charge Vice Chancellor Nehu, and Madam Muzika, Head of the Department of Law, Northeastern Hill University. I would now like to request our President, Mr. Meshwa Kupar Mauthaw, to felicitate our chief guest, Mr. Metpa Lingdaw. I would now like to request our Executive Director, Mr. Ritvik Bhuiyan, to felicitate Professor D.K. Nayak, in charge Vice Chancellor Nehu. I now request our Secretary General, Mme. Katrina Nonkinri, to felicitate Mr. Gemino Mautha. I request our CDC, Mr. Samuel Lingra, to felicitate Ms. Alithia Cordor Lingdo, Deputy Executive Director of NESFAS. I request our Director General, Ms. Ankita Sharma Bordoloi, to felicitate Ma'am Mozika, HOD Law Department. Strength does not come from winning. Your struggles develop your strengths. When you go through hardships and you decide not to surrender, that is strength. Our Executive Director, Mr. Ritwik Bhuya, is an epitome of the same. Mr. Ritwik Bhuya is a name in the circuit that needs no introduction. He is an exuberant debater, a person with the most outrageous personality and a spectacular charm, and someone who always stands up for the right. He is a recent graduate with a comprehensive background in law studies, equipped with a strong understanding of legal principles and practices. Ritwik began his debating and Model United Nations career at a young age and has participated in numerous conferences till date in various parts of India, both as a delegate and as an executive board member. In Indian committees, he is unstoppable and regarded as one of the best debaters in the circuit. For him, the traits that are most important in a person are strength, humility, and honesty. Other than that, he has a keen interest in music and is a fanatic of great novels. I request you to kindly address the gathering, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, please excuse my sweaty appearance. I've been running around a lot, and this is not something that I should have been doing early this morning, but if the hour calls for it, that is what you need to do. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good morning to all of you again, our most esteemed guests, both up on the dais and sitting right here in the front row of this august house today. Parents, teachers in charge that have visited us, accompanying their wards and their children to this particular event, and you delegates, thank you very much for being here. It is an absolute pleasure of mine to welcome you to this 4th edition and the grandest edition yet, to this very edition of Meghalaya Model United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute privilege to stand before you here today. And it is something that I must say. This organization, wherever I go, I speak of this particular thing. We started this 6 to 7 years ago. School children, we were, barely out of high school. Some of us were barely in our first semester of college. And we had this small dream, a very, very small dream, to allow the youth that would come after us access to platforms and opportunities that unfortunately, for whatever circumstances, we never had. And after 6 to 7 years of back-breaking, bone-breaking work, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, and it has been our attempt, our endeavor, to allow the youth of not just this state, we have the word Meghalaya in our name, but we try to not restrict ourselves to this very state only. We try and reach out to students and children from across the entire northeastern zone, ladies and gentlemen, and this is a matter of great pride for me. None of us come from a background of influence or power or nothing of that sort. We were small children, that is all we were, with just a small dream, and with years and years of people that have touched our lives. There were members that joined our organization. They worked with us, side by side, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder. We have worked for years. Some have left the organization today, but not the family. And our family continues to grow. At one point in time, we were nothing more than 20 people at most. And today, a host stands before us. And that is the greatest point of pride and privilege for me. To the delegates that are gathered here, I would like to remind you one thing. This is an academic event, especially for those of you who are still under the illusion that this is a 3-day-long party. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this is not. This is an event, academic in nature. Have fun, but most importantly, learn all that you can. Build all the connections that you can. Absorb every single iota of data that you can. Do your best, because we have given you our best. If you look around the hall, folks, you will notice there are a few people in the corners, behind the stage, outside. You will not see them with ID cards. Some of us, we don't even have the time to go and hunt for our ID cards. Do you know why? Because for the last 72 hours, at least, none of us have slept. Some of us have traveled 24 to 48 hours straight. Some of us are ill, but you will never see it on our faces. And I am telling you this now because it is my job, it is my duty. Forget my job and my duty. It is a calling of my very soul that I must appreciate every single person that is running around with us for you. You will never see a drop of sweat break out on their faces. You may see their hands tremble, their knees be a little wobbly, because a lot of us are ill, because we're tired, we're exhausted. But at the end of the day, we have no qualms about what we do. We have no issues about the fact that we are giving up on a portion of our health for the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, for whatever amount of time. Because this is our dream. Months of meeting different people from all over, be it from people in the government, our distinguished guests that are here with us today, or visiting your schools and colleges to convince your teachers that we are not a group of fraud kids who are just here to bank on your money. It has taken months of back-breaking work, and here we stand. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, absorb all you can, learn all you can, and build all that you can. Welcome once again to Meghalaya Model United Nations 2023. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Those words were indeed encouraging. Some people see things as they are and ask why. Others dream things that never were and ask why not. Our founder president had the courage to ask the why not and create this platform for the youth. It is his dream that we are all living today. Mr. Meshwa Kupar Mautho is a very down-to-earth person in the circuit and has completed a postgraduate degree in forensic science from the National Forensic Science University in Gujarat. He was persistent in his goal of restoring the tradition of offline Mmun conferences despite 2 years of online conferences and continuous lockdowns. An outstanding speaker with unmatched negotiation skills that will keep you in wonder, he is unrivaled in the field of debate. He has both managerial skills and leadership abilities. He has participated in over 40 Mmun conferences across the country. Mr. Meshwa is the most enjoyable and cooperative, and he successfully strikes the ideal mix of fun and work. I request Mr. Meshwa to kindly address the gathering now.
Great. Hope it doesn't fall, okay? Delegates! I can't hear. Delegates! I can't hear. This near who must hear us today before I begin my speech. Delegates! Yes, delegates! Yes, are we ready? Yes, a very good morning to all of you, and welcome to the largest model UN conference of Northeast India with 710 delegates. As I begin my presidential address, I would like just ask Ritwik sir, our executive director, who've become my best friend, my brother in arms for almost since I know him. I felt like I've known him forever. I remember some of you might have been there in the third Shillong conference with 650 delegates, then largest as well, over then as well, but challenged. After the conference on the third day, I remember we were sitting in the car, all the delegates had went home, and we're like, what next? That was the biggest question. We always ask this to each other. What next now? We've done it. We've become the largest. What next? Then we'll become the grandest. And ladies and gentlemen, Meghalaya Mmun is just not Meghalaya Mmun conference this year. It's Meghalaya Mmun International Conference with participations from Myanmar, Bhutan, and Bangladesh. That is the power of Meghalaya Mmun. Dear folks, I would like to thank our honorable chief guest, Mr. Medba Lingdor, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. Dr. Jimino, who is also my uncle, thank you so much. Professor in charge, VC, sir, thank you for coming as well as the executive director, for at least hosting us. I still remember when we started in 2017, 2018, there were a lot of people who asked me why you're doing this. Are you even trusted? You're young kids. I was 17 back then in 2017. And I started this. And I started it because of my first Model UN conference. Just take this out. Give me 1 second, delegates. I hope you don't mind. Okay. So I remember in 2017 when I started this. When I started this, a lot of teachers asked me, a lot of institutions then asked me, what are you doing? What is this Model UN? We already have mock parliaments. We already have this. But I said, I have a dream. And I have a dream that one day, every young child of Meghalaya, every young teenager of Meghalaya must know what it is to have a platform to voice your opinion. They must have a platform on a lot of current issues. And with the blessing of Almighty, I am thankful to all the 12 district collectors of Meghalaya, all the 12 deputy commissioners of Meghalaya from all the 12 districts, that they have been willing to support a minimum of 30 delegates per district, which means every part of Meghalaya has been covered in this conference. The other story of this conference, I remember we took a resolution in the year 2019, right after our second conference, that it should not just be in Shillong. We must also have in Tura, we must also have in Nongstoy, we must also have in Mairang, we must also have in Nongpo. And with the dedication of the team that I lead, young people, 1 month ago, I have here with me today the regional director and additional regional director of our Garo Hills region, who've conducted the first ever Garo Hills MUN with more than 150 participants in a region that rarely even have competitions. And the dream has begun. We have 12 months in a year. I'm sharing my dream with all of you. 12 months in a year, 12 districts in Meghalaya, 12 MUN, 1 MUN conference per month. We will travel to every district if we have to. We will bring MUN closer to all, and we will teach them the art of MUN. And I know all of you are here today, know the power of MUN. Today, as I stand here, I am filled with so much nostalgia. I'm really sorry. I had a very different speech in mind. But 7 years down the line, ladies and gentlemen, the amount of people I've worked with, some of them are not here today, some of them are in Delhi, and I miss them so much. I'll be honest with you. I've had the privilege to lead young people. In the first year, when I was 17, all of them were 21, 22, and I was 17 years old, and they were listening to me. And that is my story today, and I lead a team. Today we have almost 50 members of the OCs running, bringing this into its picture. And trust me, I am so thankful to each of them. Because it is easy to say, I dream of something. But to have people to believe in you is the hardest. And to my team, starting from my executive director, my secretary general, my director of communications and outreach, my chef de cabinet, and everyone else in the senior secretariat and the secretariat, thank you so much for believing in me. And to all of you delegates, thank you, and we will make it greater next year. That is what we will do. The organization, as I've mentioned in all of the orientations that we've met, we don't just do MUN, in case you think we come once a year, go missing, and only do MUN. Ladies and gentlemen, we were part of the election commission team during the State Assembly election 2023, in which me and my team members traveled to every constituency in East Khasi Hills district, educating people of their rights to vote. That is what we do other than what we do in MUN. And it has led to an increase in the percentage of young voters coming out. I remember on election day, we were busy, the whole team, managing social media and pushing young people, in calling young people go out and vote. And it has resulted in a result. We were part of various interventions, and we have begun now. From here onwards, the interventions in the youth sector will begin. We will not stop at MUNs, but we will go into leadership. We will go into negotiations. We will go into soft skill development. That is what we will go into, and we will touch the lives so that one day, among the members of our conferences, among the members of our programs, we will have chief ministers, we will have chief secretaries coming from these young folks that are prepared to go ahead. Maybe, who knows, if God willed, among you all today, a prime minister might come up, or a UN secretary general might come up. That's my dream for all of you. And I want you to believe in that. Ban Ki-moon, Honorable former Secretary General, was an MUN himself. So if you have that dream, Mr. Shashi Tharoor was an MUN himself. So that is a dream. It should not end here, delegates. It should begin here, where we will together disrupt the status quo. It is time now for the Gen Youth era, where no more just climate change. We are in boiling earth right now. And it is our responsibility as young people. It's time for us to say, it's time for the Gen Youth era. Enough of the millennials. Let's take over. Let's change the world. By that I don't mean we say we don't need them. We need them as our helping us, mentoring us. But it's time for us to take action. In my previous presidential address last year, I had mentioned India was turning 75 last year. When India turns 25, we are the shaper of that future. When Meghalaya turns 75, we are the shapers of that. And if you do fail to act today, delegates, if you fail to act, remember the Gen Youth of that time will question you and say, enough, get out of the way, it's time for us. But if you make a difference, they'll say, thank you that in 2023, there were people who dared to disrupt the status quo. And we will. We will not stop. I've always said this in every conference, in every public platform that I get. Young people's voice is important in policy making. They deserve a seat in policy making. And that is my dream and my passion, and I will fight for that. That young people get a seat in policy making. That their views are taken into consideration and seriously. You know, there was one time when I was very young, people said, you know, in Khasi, I'm saying it, if you understand, I'll translate it. When translated, you're just a young kid. Why are you acting over smart? But I said, look, you may think I'm acting over smart, but listen to my suggestions. You will yourself feel like a kid. And that is what I want you to have, a voice. Young delegates, the time has come that we will go into our committee rooms, 9 of them, and we will make a change. And I'm especially saying to the members, the delegates who have opted for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, you have a very big task at hand. The UNHCR is putting a challenge. They've given you 4 problem statements. They're telling solve it. If you can come up with good resolutions, UNHCR will call you to its commission, and you will be able to speak in real world leaders and give your solutions. And even to the other committees like Human Rights Council as well, even your suggestions will be sent forward to the UNHCR for their consideration. So I wish each of you the very best. And I will be coming in all your committee rooms. I'll be seeing all of you. For the next 3 days, this is family. For the next 3 days, this is home. And delegates, are you with me on this? Yes, are you with me on this? Yes, sir. Let's say this theme one more time together. Disrupt the status quo, the genuine era. Thank you, everyone. This is Meshwa Kuparmalto, founder.
A gavel is a sign of power and trust that is bestowed by the organization to the Secretary General of the conference. The gavel marks the authority and command that the Secretary General holds, which enables them to carry out the responsibilities of the Secretariat, bringing together the team to work unitedly towards one definite goal, the success of the conference. Our Secretary General for the 4th conference is Ms. Kathrina Nonkindry. I request our President to hand over the gavel to the Secretary General of Mmun 2023, Ms. Kathrina Nonkindry. The International Press Corps offers a distinctive viewpoint on the world of diplomacy. While the conference is undergoing an adrenaline rush, vigorous debate, and resolution making, IPC is a group of journalists, photographers, and caricaturists compared to the conventional committees, which are made up of delegates representing different countries. Each member of the committee is allocated a reputable news organization. I call our President, Meshwa, and our Chief Guest, Mr. Metbal Lingdo, to hand over the gavels and felicitate the EBs of the IPC committee. Head of Photography, Mr. Aryan Lahon. A national-level rower and travel enthusiast, Mr. Aryan Lahon is a master behind the lens. Being one of the youngest influencers of Northeast, he has been previously Nat Geo's American Editor's Favorite of the Week. Mr. Lahon is pursuing his graduation from the prestigious B. Barwa College with a political science honors. He is known in the Northeastern Mmun circuit for the creation of the web portal model in the journalism sector. The great photography skills he possesses adds life to the abiotic world as well. Head of Caricaturists, Mr. Anirban Kar. Anirban Kar is a friendly face and a remarkably talented graphic designer who has captivated the circuit with his outstanding artistic prowess. Despite the burden of being undervalued, Anirban has always been the one to push the boundaries of his craft, and he lives by the philosophy, good artists copy, great artists steal. As a third-year communication design student at the esteemed Royal Global University, Anirban has been honored with 3 consecutive Best Caricaturist Awards in the circuit, cementing his status as a force to be reckoned with. Due to unforeseen circumstances, Ms. Uzma Farhat, the head of the journalism team, couldn't be with us today. In her absence, our Secretary General, Ms. Kathrina Nonkindry, will be the Editor-in-Chief of the IPC Committee. Ms. Kathrina Nonkindry is currently working as a journalist at the NE Media Hub after graduating from St. Mary's College in Shillong with a degree in economics. Ms. Kathrina is a capable and headstrong woman who possesses the ideal combination of intelligence and quick-witted negotiation skills. The Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha could come to a deadlock in extreme cases. According to the framers of the Indian Constitution, a joint session of Houses of Parliament is established in such a circumstance. The joint session of Parliament is allowed to be called by the President of India. This year, The joint parliamentary session has the agenda, discussion on the Uniform Civil Code Private Bill. I request our Executive Director and Professor D.K. Nayak to felicitate the Executive Board members of the joint parliamentary session. This committee will be chaired by Mr. Akshat Mohan Awasthi. Mr. Akshat Mohan Awasthi is a well-known face in the Delhi circuit of MUN and is an IT engineer currently working at Google. He firmly believes that in an MUN, most of us have to lose a lot to learn how to win. His message to all the delegates is to never estimate the power of a sense of diplomacy. His keen interest in politics, economics, and technology made him enter into the vivid field of MUNing and debating. The vice chair of this committee is Mr. Yash Agarwal, who is currently a student of 12th grade in International School, Guwahati. He has been doing MUNs for the last 4 years. He has an interest in politics, which he considers a blessing, and has an experience of 20 plus MUNs. The All India Political Parties Meet is a symposium that enables India's various political parties to agree on issues of utmost importance to the country. Delegates explore the depths and subtleties of Indian contemporary politics in this context with all of its limitations. The committee is unparalleled for its political slogans and satires and is a terrific opportunity for bilingual debaters because they can debate in their comfort zone. This year, the agenda of the AIPPM committee is discussion on regional aspirations of Northeast India and the role of the Act East policy towards fulfilling it. The committee this year will be chaired by Mr. Pragyan Parasar Nayog, and the vice chairperson is Mr. Parthiv Das. I request our Secretary General and Mr. Jamino Mauthaw to felicitate the executive board members of the AIPPM committee. Mr. Pragyan Parasar Nayog is renowned for his prominent debating skills and prodigious knowledge of politics. He is considered as one of the most revered and proficient executive board members within the Northeastern Circuit. Having an affinity for international politics and conflicts and Indian politics, he is a TIS alumni.
Who will then produce our food, especially in the years to come? There will be no more food producers in the years to come. How do we then solve this problem if there are no farmers anymore? Are we all planning to grow our own food? If that happens, it's a great thing, you know. But are we ready to consume foods made out of labs? So that's why don't you think even a farmer deserves the same respect as any other professional? And it is important also for us and the world, especially our state, which is an agrarian state, to rebrand agriculture as something which is cool, in which young people can also take part and also bring livelihood for them. Now, there is a village in Garo Hills, it's called Sasadgre. It's very interesting to see that a lot of the young people that live in that village, they study outside, okay, like in Tura or in Shillong. But whenever it's weeding season, they always come back to the village to help their parents in the weeding activities in their village. And we also have something called the Participatory Video Program. In this program, we identify potential youth from the rural communities, and and we train them in filmmaking. We train them in basic scripting, shooting, and editing the videos. Now, we believe that a tool or a practice like participatory video is very important in today's era. And especially because, as you know, that the mainstream media in this day and age is very much neglecting indigenous people's issues. That's why through a participatory video, we do not have to wait for someone from the media or from Shillong or from Delhi or Mumbai to come shoot our films, our stories, okay? So in the communities that we work with, I noticed also something very interesting, There are some communities that have young headmen. Some are of the age of 22, 21 also. And in my observation, I feel that these villages are very progressive as compared to the others. And then there is one village in Umsawar, in the Maukonro region. They have also started something called a children's darbar. You know, I was just telling Mishwa about it earlier. And what this darbar does is, this council does is, it brings together children up to the age of 17, and they discuss on important issues like biodiversity conservation, abuse, and then cleanliness, sanitation, health, and many more. So even in the next coming months, we have, in principle, we have kind of agreed that we will request MMUN to facilitate a similar kind of a model UN platform, especially in the rural areas, and we really look forward to that. So I'm going to close now, but there is one very important question that we should all be asking. Why do we think we should give young people a chance? There's a very simple answer to that. So to quote Greta Thunberg, young people do not blah, blah, blah. Okay? That's because young people are the real doers, and they are the beacons of hope. Thank you so much. That's all from me, and all the best for the rest of the conference.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for those inspiring words. The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, was founded in 1997 to combat the global problems of drug trafficking, organized crime, and corruption. In close collaboration with national governments, civil society organizations, and other UN agencies, UNODC offers technical assistance, training, and research to support the adoption of international drug control, crime prevention, and criminal justice conventions and standards. The agenda of this committee this year is discussion on the legalization of cannabis for medical use. I request our President and Ma'am Alithia to felicitate the EB of the UNODC committee. The committee will be chaired by Ma'am Saru Sharma, and the Vice Chair is Ms. Srishti Shaharia. Our Vice Chair, Ms. Srishti Shaharia, is a 12th grade humanities student in Gurukul Grammar Senior Secondary School. A humble, kind, and confident individual, she has been most active in the circuit since the past year and has worked her way up to receive several accolades along the way. She also served as the Secretary General of the maiden edition of Gurukul Grammar School Model United Nations this year. Apart from holding a keen interest in crisis committees and having shown excellence in some of the most unique crisis committees, she has a knack for literature. As an executive board member, she looks forward to providing delegates with a worthwhile and fruitful experience. The ECOSOC's United Nations Commission on the Status of Women is a significant functional commission with the exclusive mission of advancing women's empowerment and gender equality. It was founded in 1946 and today plays a crucial role in advancing women's rights, chronicling the lives of women around the world, and establishing international norms for gender equality and women empowerment. The agenda for this committee this year is the empowerment of rural women and their role in poverty and hunger eradication, development, and current challenges. I request our Executive Director and Mr. Gemino Mautho to felicitate the Executive Board members of this committee. The committee this year will be chaired by Ma'am Ananya Talukdar, and the Vice Chairperson is Ma'am Sanipha S. Basan. Ananya Talukdar is a name that needs no introduction. A talented orator, debater, and public speaking enthusiast with a passion for international relations, she has honed her skills in public speaking, negotiation, and diplomacy. Ms. Sanipha S. Basan is currently pursuing her bachelor's in physiotherapy in Bangalore. She has been debating since the age of 13 in various debate competitions. She embarked on her Mmun journey since she was 15 years old and has participated in a number of conferences in Meghalaya. The United Nations Security Council is known to be the executive organ of the United Nations since its inception. Its main goal is to keep things safe and peaceful around the world. A continuous crisis committee is one that does not have a set agenda. It might be an immediate meeting to address or discuss issues that could jeopardize global peace and security. I request our Secretary General and Professor D.K. Nayak to felicitate the executive board members of this committee. The president of the UNSC CCC committee is Mr. David Das, and the moderator is Mr. Saunak Sengupta. David Das is a great visionary and a prominent face in the Mmun circuit. He is known for his extraordinary service as an executive board member in the circuit with an experience of 85 plus Mmuns under his name. Saunak Sengupta is a postgraduate student pursuing his master's degree in physics from IIT Guwahati. He is quite new to the Northeastern Mmun circuit and is a regular participant of Mmuns in Calcutta. So far, he has done more than 25 Mmuns, both as a delegate and a chairperson. Shri Gemino Mouthall's work in the field of adult and continuing education is commendable. As an associate professor in the Department of Adult and Continuing Education Department, he has made a significant contribution to the field through his teaching and research. His dedication to his work and his impact on the community has made him a valuable leader and influencer, especially among the youth. It's inspiring to see individuals like him make a positive difference in society. I request you to kindly address the gathering, sir.
Very good afternoon to each and every one of you. It's getting pretty warm, no? The atmosphere. And with that speech by the President, Meshwa Mautho, with so much of passion in him, I think the MMUN is getting warm up. Ma'am Drishti, the compeer of this very important and special program. Honorable Chief Guest, Shri Medba Lingdo, who is also the chairman of the State Planning Board, Meghalaya. We're honored to have you, sir, in our midst. And we're also honored to have the acting Vice Chancellor in our midst today, Professor D.N. Nayak. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of Madame Alithia Swear, who is from NESFAS. And we also have Mr. Bhuyan, who's the Executive Director, right, MMUN. And then Kathleen, right, Secretary General. At the outset, I would like to profusely thank the organizers for inviting me here today to be part of this very important program. In fact, when my student, Evangeline here, sent me a letter inviting me for this program, when I was looking at the letter, the theme, the topic, which I'm supposed to also say something today, is on disrupting the status quo, as mentioned by the speakers. I was quite taken aback because, you know, when we use the word disrupt, it means something which has a negative connotation. Say, disrupting the status quo sounds revolutionary also in nature, anti-establishment. So, but after going through what MMUN has been striving for, I came to know that this is a big challenge for the youth of today, especially the Generation Z. All of you young people coming from different states of the Northeast, I'm so happy to see you here in our midst. I was not really expecting to see so many young people representing the different states of the Northeast. And I'm also told that from other states like Bihar and Andhra Pradesh, the representatives are also here, and also from Bhutan, Myanmar, and Bangladesh. Would like to welcome you to our beautiful city, Shillong. Well, friends, I would like to take Meshwa a little bit, to those days when I was quite active here in the university. It was in the year 1993 that I was also associated with one organization, which is associated with the International Students Movement for the United Nations. We had the Meghalaya chapter at that time, and we also had the organization in the entire Northeast. But that organization did not go forward. Although we attended one conference as youth leaders in the year 1996 in Geneva, Switzerland, that was quite very interesting because we had the opportunity to meet with different youth leaders from other parts of the world. But the organization that we represented at that time, it didn't move forward. And we had to disband the organization because of certain reasons. But I still remember we had organized one essay competition. This is also from Geneva, and we had helped to facilitate, to organize this essay competition here in the state of Meghalaya. And one of our member, who's now the chief election officer in the state of Meghalaya, Frederick Kharkongor, he wrote a beautiful article citing the examples of the ants. The title of the essay is, Can We Live Together? And out of so many who participated in the essay competition all over the world, Frederick Kharkongor also emerged as the winner, and he got an opportunity to attend a summer camp in Geneva in Switzerland. That was in the year 1996. So I just wanted to tell Meshwa, because Meshwa did not know about this, but we also had some activities and programs relating to the promotion of the United Nations. And like I said, we were linked to the International Students Movement of the United Nations. Like I said, when we were talking about, when I was saying about the disruption of the status quo, in the beginning I thought that it has got a negative connotation, but it has also a positive connotation. When you look at the state of affairs in our world today, what do we see? Are we going on a downslide, or are we progressing forward? Now, if I've been asking a lot of young people, I asked them, do you believe in a sustainable future? Is there any such thing as a sustainable future? 99%, they will say, sir, no, the world is going on a downslide. That is what we see. And when we look at the state of affairs all over the world, look at a country, look at a region, look at a state, there is this apprehension that we will not be able to change what has been happening or what has been going on. But let me tell you this, when I look at you young people, I think there's a ray of hope. Don't consider yourself to be, the digital natives, obsessed with only, the social media and all that. No, I think you also need to engage yourself in all the processes relating to life itself. That is very, very important. We talk about the Millennium Development Goals. We talk about the Sustainable Development Goals. Efforts have been made at the global level, to ameliorate the plight of the marginalized people, to eradicate poverty, to address the issue of unemployment, to address the issue of energy crisis, environmental degradation, and so on and so forth. Although efforts have been made in this regard, although we have achieved in certain areas to a certain extent, but a lot of things remains a challenge in our world today. This is the challenge of the young generation now. When we talk about the youth population, we say that, the youth population are now categorized as the disengaged generation, aimless, useless, hopeless. Do we belong to that category? I don't think so. We would like to be categorized, being the less society. I think we are much more, right? I think we are much more. We can do much better. When we look at the world today, I remember when I read this recommendation of the International Commission on Education, Jacques Delors, he was talking about these, these tensions that we have in our world today. The tensions between what is traditional and what is modern, what is global and what is local, what is universal and what is individual. I think that is what breaks our mind, I think, as young people. We are at the crossroads. It's a very difficult choice for us. What do we do with our lives? What route to take? What path to take? Which direction to take? These are very challenging times, isn't it? Am I right in saying this? Yes or no? Are you pessimistic or optimistic? Are you optimistic? Are you optimistic that the world will become better in the years to come? 5 years from now, 10 years from now? When I asked this question to these young people, is there any such thing as a sustainable future? 99% said no, except one person who is in class 11. He said, yes, I believe things are changing. The world is changing. Look at the greeneries. Look at the plantations that is going on now. A young person, class 11, he's the only one person who told me, yes, we're looking forward to the future. But if you talk about the general population, I think most of us, we share the same disappointment. We share the same disillusionment, right? But I think as long as we're alive, I think, like what Meshwa is saying, we need to do a little bit of kicking also, right? Yes or no? Okay. Now, when I talk about these challenges that our youths are facing today, and when we talk about, forget about other countries of the world, talk about our country, we are going through what is called as the demographic dividend. We have a sizable youth population in the country, right? Sizable youth population. And most of the youths today are in a dilemma. They don't really know, what will be their fate, what will be their future. Is it like that? Are you like that? No. You have a positive mindset. I think we all need to have a positive mindset, right? In spite of the challenges, in spite of the difficulties, in spite of the things that we encounter in our day-to-day activities, I think we need to come out of our shelf and start thinking differently. If we want to change, we need to do it now. When I look at my own state, 51 years has passed, 51 years has passed, and see what we have created in the state. I'm not saying that we have not progressed, we have not developed, but we have also created such a mess in the state. You're here in the city of Shillong. I think some of you who came this morning to this university, you're having a big problem with the traffic jam, right? Is it a problem? Can we change that? We have been deliberating, talking about this for so many years altogether, but there seems to be no solutions. What we find now is only those who are problem pointers or noise makers, but no problem solvers. Where are the problem solvers? You have to be the problem solvers. You have to come out with alternatives. You have to come up with options. It's not only blaming, the government. It's not only blaming the different groups or those people who are at the helm of affairs. That blame culture has to stop. But what we need to do is, we need to act. Like Meshwa is saying, that this is a time to act. That blame culture has to go. We need to act. That is very, very important. So friends, although I've been asked to give a little talk today, 5 minutes, right? I think I've gone a little bit beyond. But I just wanted to say this, that as to quote John F. Kennedy, he said, change is a law of nature, okay? But I'm not saying that you forget the past, you forget the present. You need to connect these threads together. The past, the present, the future, they are linked. You cannot say that the way we look at the world from a different perspective is different from what our parents are seeing, from what our grandparents are seeing. I think we should not have that kind of an attitude also, to say that, we know better, we understand better. But what is important, I feel, is that you need to connect the threads, the past, the present, and the future. And young people, you have so much access to information today. So much of information you have today. At your fingertips, you use that well, and you'll be able to bring about the much needed change in society today, in our state, in our country, in the world. I'm really glad that this movement has picked up. The United Nations movement has also picked up. And with you young people participating actively in this movement to address the issues that is plaguing the world today, plaguing the country today, the state today, I think you have to come up with some new ideas, new innovations. This is what we want to see in our young people today. You should not be categorized as the disengaged generation or the less society. But you have to do something now. You have to act. If you talk about sustainability, sustainable future, it means what? To meet the needs of the present generation without jeopardizing the needs of the future generation. You also have to think about what is going to come 10 years, 20 years, 50 years from now on, right? So I wish you all the best. I wish the organizers all the best for the initiative and for facilitating this program, bringing people young people from different parts of the Northeast and also from different parts of the country. I wish you the very best in your future endeavor, and I hope that we will also be able to contribute to whatever you're doing as far as your goals and the objectives are concerned. So with these few words, thank you once again for giving me this time, to share a few thoughts with you. Thank you once again, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for those encouraging words. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, the UN Agency for Refugees, works to guarantee that everyone has the right to apply for asylum and find a safe haven while fleeing from domestic violence, persecution, or war. The agenda of this committee this year is deliberation upon the current status of refugee laws, with special emphasis on providing them with access to jobs and financial services. I request our President and our Chief Guest, Mr. Metpal Lingdo, to felicitate the co-chairs of this committee. They are Mr. Aditya Sharma and Ma'am Aisola Hiranmai Rao. Aditya Sharma, an unquenchable debater, is a fifth-year law student of Indraprastha University. He has a keen interest in public policy and lawmaking and has been doing MUNs since the class 8th and has a great experience in Model United Nations and youth parliaments. He is a great debater and is looking forward to being a part of the conference. Ma'am Isola Hiranmai Rao, hailing from Shillong, has a keen interest in politics, international affairs, and governance. She is has an undergraduate degree in law and is an executive student at ICSI and is pursuing her master's in defense and security laws and working with a transfer pricing firm. The UNHRC, within the framework of the United Nations, the Human Rights Council is an international body tasked to boost the promotion and protection of human rights all over the world, as well as investigating cases of human rights breaches and offering suggestions. This year, the agenda of the committee is discussing the interplay of human rights and unilateral coercive measures around the world. The committee will be chaired by Mr. Diptanshu Talukdar and Mr. Ashnit Yadav. I request our Executive Director and Ma'am Alithia to felicitate the Executive Board members. Diptanshu Talukdar, having completed his bachelor's in political science, is one of the veterans of the Assam MUN circuit. Closing in on 40 MUNs since 2016, he is a headstrong personality with a very approachable personality as well. Besides MUNs, he is an avid debater, quizzer, and is interested in football. He is a firm believer in the virtues of hard work and dedication. Mr. Ashnit Yadav is a student of National PG College, pursuing his undergraduate in management, having an early exposure to MUNs. He is passionate about international relations, which has earned him 7 years of experience. The United Nations General Assembly Disarmament and International Security Committee, UNGA DISEC, is the first of the main committees formed by the General Assembly of the United Nations. It was formed in response to the demand of an international forum for the discussion of peace and security concerns among the members of the international community. This year, the agenda of this committee is controlling the use of small and unlicensed weapons by non-state actors in fragmented states. I request our Secretary General and Mr. Gemino Mautho to felicitate the Executive Board members of this committee. This committee will be co-chaired by Mr. Raghav Pathak and Mr. Roshank Kumar. Raghav Pathak is currently working in Legal Counsel's office with the United Nations Security Council, Asia and Pacific, along with having a position of IB tax executive in Deloitte. He has a combined delegate and EB experience of 170 plus conferences over a span of 6+ years. Apart from being a law student, he is an entrepreneur and has served previously for 3 years as the Chief Financial Officer of Cypher International. Mr. Roshank Kumar is working as a research fellow and is heading the Center for Law and Justice at the Adhyan Foundation for Policy Research. He has been working with and for the policy and legislative advisor of the members of parliament, statutory boards like the Law Commission and State Information Commission, among others. He is an aggressive debater with a vast knowledge of international relations and has an experience of 160 plus MUNs over a span of 8 years. Professor D.K. Nayak is a highly accomplished individual in the field of geography. With his specialization in social and population geography, geography of aging and environment, he has a wealth of knowledge and expertise. He has published 4 books, numerous articles, and presented papers both nationally and internationally, and made significant contributions to the field. I would request you to kindly address the gathering, sir.
Thank you. Honorable Chief Guest of this occasion, Sri Mehta M. Dingto, also the Chairman of Meghalaya State Planning Board, my colleague, an eminent educationist and intellectual, Dr. Mautho, Gemina Mautho, who is present on the dais. We've also the President of the Meghalaya Unit of Model United Nations, Mr. Meshwa
Cooper Motho and the Executive Director of the Meghalaya unit of the Model United Nations, Mr. Ritwik Bhuiyan, and the other functionaries of this unit, and other delegates, eminent personalities present on the dais, and also my esteemed colleagues from the Department of Law and other departments of our university and from other institutions, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed participants, and fellow advocates for change. Today, I stand before you with immense pride and enthusiasm as we gather for the Meghalaya Model United Nations 2023. This event represents the spirit of our youth, a force that holds the power to reshape our world for the better. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizers who have worked tirelessly to cultivate meaningful conversations among our young minds. In a world where global challenges transcend borders, the significance of platforms like the Meghalaya Model United Nations cannot be overstated. This event goes beyond geographical boundaries, uniting youth from our region and beyond to engage in thoughtful deliberations about the critical issues that shape the trajectory of our planet. Within these walls, the leaders of tomorrow are honing their skills, mastering the art of diplomacy, and embracing the core principles of United Nations. The journey of Meghalaya Model United Nations thus far has been nothing short of remarkable. Rooted in a commitment to academic excellence, this event has carved its place as a beacon of enlightened discourse. This year's conference theme, Disrupting the Status Quo, Gen Youth Era, could not be timelier. Our world is in a constant flux, presenting us with new challenges and opportunities at every turn. The status quo must be examined, questioned, and reshaped to align with the aspirations and visions of the youth, the very agents of transformation. As you immerse yourselves in the committees, whether it's Security Council, the General Assembly, or the Human Rights Council, remember that you are not just discussing policies, you are nurturing skills that will serve you in all facets of life, from public speaking to critical thinking, research to diplomacy. These are the tools that will empower you to excel in any path that you choose to follow. While the debates and discussions will continue, while the debates and discussions will undoubtedly be the focal point, let's also cherish the connections made beyond these walls, the friendships formed, the cultural exchanges, and the shared experiences will weave a tapestry of memories that you will carry with you into the future. In conclusion, dear participants, I urge you to seize this remarkable opportunity, engage deeply, challenge assumptions, and innovate fearlessly. Embrace the ideals of the United Nations, for within them lies the blueprint for a better world. As you look ahead, envision the legacy you wish to leave behind, a legacy that speaks of your unwavering dedication, passion, and commitment to shaping a world that mirrors the aspirations of the Gen Youth era. Thank you, and may your discussions be guided by wisdom, empathy, and a collective pursuit of creating a world that future generations will inherit with pride and gratitude. Your presence here is a testament to the potential of youth to drive meaningful change. Thank you all. I also thank the organizers for choosing our university as the venue of this 4th International Conference. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Our chief guest for today is Mr. Metpal Lingdo. He is an MLA and the chairman of the Meghalaya State Planning Board. He was the former speaker of the Meghalaya Legislative Assembly. Having an impressive career in politics, he has made a positive impact on the people of the state. He is a true inspiration for many, and we are honored to have his presence with us today. I welcome sir for an address now.
A very good afternoon to you all. Kong Drishti, right? Yes. If I pronounce correctly, right. The acting Vice Chancellor of NEHU, Dr. Nayak, Professor Nayak, Professor Jemino Mautho, Meshwa Kupar Mautho, the President of the Meghalaya Model United Nations, all friends who are in the dais, special invitees in the front row, and especially dear students, youth from the state of Meghalaya, and those delegates who are coming all the way from different parts of the state of Northeast. Some of from Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, and some, glad to know, from Myanmar, Bhutan, and Bangladesh as well. I hope all those friends have arrived today and part of this inaugural function. I have to take off my jacket because, not because of the weather, it's because I can also feel that I'm one of you today, being and having this privilege to be in the midst of the youth. I understand that there are about 800 delegates who will be attending this 4th Shillong Conference of the Meghalaya Model United Nations held here in NEHU, out of which almost 700 students have already registered their presence to participate this 3 days long conference. There's no end to learn in life. You may be the topper in the college, in the class. You may be the wisest person in the world. But remember, there's no end to learn in life. I may be a little bit, what to say, a little bit rough or rude. I have to say this till the end of our life. That is, each and every one of us has to realize this truth. And a person who realizes this truth will always succeed and climb the stairs from one stairs to another stairs, to another stairs, to another stairs of a success in life. This conference, I'm so thankful to Bameshwa and one of his colleagues who had come and invited me. Shimon. They had come and invited me personally to be here as the chief guest. What is the role of the chief guest? My presence here today is just one thing. A message is that we need you, the youth of today, to be the pillar of tomorrow. This is the message I just want to send and convey to each and every participants and delegates of this very important conference being held here in Nehru. Second thing, I would like to give you full encouragement in this 3 days long conference that you'll be here in Shillong. As rightly said by Bameshwa and other speakers before me, that you have and you should have the willingness to learn, to observe, to know from your friends who are also a part of this conference. In this 3 days session, I have seen a lot of activities, programs, sessions that all of you will be attending. I usually would like to be a part of those sessions, rather to be in the inaugural function. Honestly, there is where you learn. There is where the place, the platform that each and every one of you will learn something new that has not been taught to you, that has not been known by you in all these years that have gone. So therefore, I am very, very privileged to be here in your midst this afternoon. Today, the inaugural function being organized by the Meghalaya Model United Nations here in Shillong. Friends, in the heart of stunning landscapes of Meghalaya, an organization thrives, one that encapsulates the aspiration of our young leaders, fosters global awareness, and empowers the voices of tomorrow. The Meghalaya Model United Nations, a beacon of knowledge and diplomacy, has woven together the dreams and potential of the youth of our region and beyond. The objective of this remarkable organization resonates deeply with the ethos of United Nations itself. As we navigate the complexities of an ever-evolving global landscape, the importance of nurturing a new generation of leaders cannot be overstated. By engaging our youth in meaningful dialogues on international affairs and UN agendas, the Meghalaya Model United Nations is sowing the seeds of understanding, cooperation, and innovative problem solving. Notably, the Meghalaya Model United Nations stands as a unique and proud achievement in our state and the larger Northeast region. Its recognition by the UN Information Center for India and Bhutan elevates its status to that of the torchbearer for youth-led initiatives in the pursuit of sustainable development and peace. Friends, it's a badge of honor that symbolizes the dedication and collective effort invested in this very, very noble cause. Let us acknowledge the profound importance of collaboration, cornerstone of both the United Nations and the Meghalaya Model United Nations. The organization's commitment to working hand in hand with government and private entities exemplifies the transformative potential of collective action. It's a testament to the impact that can be achieved when diverse perspectives coverage to tackle challenges that transcend borders and boundaries. I was looking at the invitation card and the booklet provided to me, and as mentioned by Dr. Jamino Mautho, about the theme that you have put forward for this 3 days long conference, disrupting the status quo. We as women often think that we only need to defy the status quo. But I would rather add or go beyond that. We should actually reshape it. We should actually reshape it. In this generation of internet, there are champions who transform a life from poverty into a meaningful and flourishing life. I'm sure youth of this generation can truly disrupt the status quo if they leverage on the wealth of opportunities internet and technology that has created for them. And you won't grow. That's why the pace of change is unbelievably very, very fast. We are in an artificial intelligence. All of you are very much well informed about all this new technology and the technology revolution, where new developments and innovation can change our industry overnight. Disruption needs to be preemptive. You must plan to change before you are forced to change, because then it's too late. Make the new decade before your starting point. Don't be afraid to challenge traditions, even if you have a process that you work, or you're still developing your foundation. Existing of successful approaches should not hinder evolutionary thinking of strategies or strategies for change. In closing, I am inspired by each and every one of you. Your presence here is a testament to your commitment to bettering the world we inhabit today. Most of the time, we look up to others. But your presence today, as pointed out by your President Bameshwa, that we have to act. We are no longer in a situation that we have to wait or suggest others to act. We have to act. But when the youth act, the impact is always there. When the youth act, the impact is always there. So let us deliberate with open minds, advocate with compassionate hearts, and strive for solutions that transcend the limit of our immediate surroundings. Together, let us embody the spirit of the United Nations, working towards a world that is more just, inclusive, and equitable for each and every individual. I, once again, would like to thank the leaders of this Meghalaya Model United Nations for inviting me today to be a part of this very, very meaningful conference. And with all my heart, I wish all and each, every one of you, a pleasant stay here in Shillong. And I also wish this 3 days long conference of Meghalaya Model United Nations, the 4th Shillong Conference, a grand success. Thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for gracing this event with your kind words. I now request our Secretary General, Ma'am Kathrina Nonkenry, to address the gathering.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests and everyone present here. I believe the Executive Director as well as Ms. Shah, the President, have already explained our journey in these 6 to 7 years that we've went through. I, as the Secretary General, would like to say that the team working along with these two poles are the ones who have been bridging everything from one end to the other. Therefore, on behalf of the team behind backstage, and I, the Secretary General, would like to welcome you to the grandest stage of diplomacy, intellectual, and collaboration. The 4th Meghalaya International Model United Nations. It is my privilege to stand before you as the Secretary General for the 2nd time in a row, and I am filled with immense pride and anticipation for the days ahead. It is in these hollowed chambers of ideas that we gather, not only as participants, but as catalysts of change. The journey which we will embark in this next 3 days will be one of discourse, negotiations, and resolutions. As delegates representing diverse nations of the country and their viewpoints, you hold in your hands the power to shape the world through dialogue and diplomacy. The theme of our conference for this year is Disrupting the Status Quo, #the Gen Youth Era. It resonates deeply in our interconnection with the world. It is an era marked by challenges and transcend borders. It is imperative that we transcend our differences and work together for a bigger and brighter future. Together, through dialogues, discussions, and understanding, we can transcend barriers and lay the foundation of unity. As we go back to the roots of Meghalaya, MUN, way back in the year 2017, it has been through hardships, but when we look at it now, we are filled with gratitude for the immense support and blessing that we've received in our journey, especially this year through the Chief Minister's Office, who have blessed and granted us with many support, as well as the Department of Sports and Youth Affairs, the DCs from all the districts of Meghalaya, NESFAS, Law Department, Northeastern Hill University, and the Meghalaya Legislative Assembly, as well as others like you delegates who have taken and have had faith on us to come to this grandest conference of the Northeastern region. Let us remember that within these simulated halls, the debates you engage in and the resolutions you draft and the alliance you form are not just exercises. They are mirror of challenges and opportunities of our times, the Gen Youth era. Therefore, just as sun rises in the hills of Meghalaya, illuminating the landscapes with its brilliance, may your discussion illuminate new paths towards better future and global solutions. I urge upon each and every delegate to embrace the spirit of diplomacy with integrity. Let us cultivate a culture of active listening, empathy, and cooperation. Through this, we will transcend ideological boundaries and work towards consensus that reflects a collective wisdom of this assembly. The challenges we face today may seem daunting, but let them inspire us rather than discourage us. Remember that every resolution passed, every alliance forged, is a step towards a total world that we envision. Together, let's create a tapestry of solutions that will reflect our commitment to a better tomorrow, more united and more upfront. In the spirit of collaboration and progress, with much enthusiasm, I now, the Secretary General, Catherine Nonkunri, for the second time of Meghalaya Model United Nations, declare the conference open. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Catherine. I would now like to request the HOD Department of Law and our President, Mr. Meshwa Kupar Mautho, to present a token of appreciation to our Chief Guest, Mr. Met Barlingdo. Gratefulness is the greatest of all virtues. It is what keeps us humble and grounded. I now call our Chef de Cabinet, Mr. Samir Lingra, to give the vote of thanks. Mr. Samir Lingra is currently pursuing his B.Tech in Computer Science from the Government College of Aurangabad. He has attended more than 30 MUN conferences across the country and is the Secretary General of the Government Engineering College Aurangabad's MUN circuit. His hobbies are playing the guitar, singing, and basketball and apologetics. I welcome sir for the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Srishti, for that wonderful introduction. But however, I'm here to give the vote of thanks to all of the people present here today. My special vote of thanks would definitely go to the faculties of the Law Department. Thank you so much, ma'am and sir, for allowing us to use your department, and also the other faculties of NEHU as well. It's a great joy to have this opportunity to thank the guest speakers, the chief guests, the plenary guest speakers, also our members who are at high value as well. Without any further ado, I do not want to take much of your time because I do understand that we are all very much hungry. Pushing forward to the very main concept of why we are here, I just want to shout out to all of the delegates. Thank you for making this conference a reality, because without you, there would not be 750 plus delegates. Without you, there would not be a conference, and without you, we would not be here. So thank you so much for being here today. I would see you guys for the next 3 days. You would see a lot of our faces running about here and there. I'm really sorry we have to work our way out in different areas and aspects of life as well. However, please remember that we have made this conference a reality because of the one important fact that we want to simulate the United Nations' committees in an environment that is accessible to all students of Meghalaya and also the entire Northeast region. It is of great joy to know that it is not only the students of Meghalaya that are benefiting from this, but also delegates from different parts of the world. So once again, my greatest and final vote of thanks would only go to the OC members for all of the sleepless nights that we had. OC members, I believe you all are here. I would humbly request all the OC members to be present in this room right now. You know, the sleepless nights that we had, the fights that we fought, the arguments that we went through, and you know, the breakups and the makeups that we went through it all. And definitely the dilemmas that we had to face in not knowing whether we should cry or whether we should laugh out of laughter. The tears that we shed throughout the entire place, the people that we've lost in our ways, but yet we see this day to be a reality. Once again, I would like to thank the executive board members from different parts of India as well to make your time for this beautiful conference. It is indeed a great joy to have you all here. I'm definitely very grateful for you all. I have nothing extraordinary to say, but a very simple and genuine thank you so much, guys, for being here. It's a great joy to have you all. Well, once again, I would like to give my final vote of thanks to the delegates, of course, the OC members, the faculties of NEHU as a whole, our guest speakers, the plenary guest speakers, and also, I just want to shout this out. Guys, from Mmun, I am proud of you all for everything that you've done. You are incredible in everything that you've done. And yes, that does not mean that, work is not done yet. We still have a lot of work to do. We still have 3 days of conference. So for the rest of the OC members and the delegates, I'll see you in the committee sessions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I request everyone to rise for the national anthem.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Thank you so much, everyone. We have a few announcements to make. All the delegates, except those of the committees UNHRC, UNSCCCC, IPC, and AIPPM, are to proceed to their respective committee rooms. You will be going there through the buses, and all your EBs will be addressing you there. I request all the dignitaries, guests, faculty, OC members, and EBs to stay back for a photo session.